succession then. In 1995, she came into the radio station that I was working at in the north of England, and we had a chat and a bit of banter, and she was feeling a little bit hoarse, but she was a charming, fun, fantastic, sharp, lovely lady, and remains that way, I know. We got to talking about the Depeche Mode guys, and because she was from Basildon, Essex, and what it was like working with Vince Clarke and how that sort of ended, and just the fact that she grew up with those people. And so here she is with me asking her about what Vince was like as a bloke, because he'd come out of Depeche Mode, formed Yazoo, went on to Erasure, of course, via The Assembly. And I asked her what he was like and what it was like being around those guys from Depeche Mode.
He's a really, really sound bloke, you know. He's kind of, you know, he's very self-contained, and that's the important thing about Vince. I don't think he really needs too many people about him. This is a lot of supposition, because, I mean, let's face it, you know, I worked with a guy for a year, and, you know, and I've seen him about 5 times since then, you know, so...
Is that literally all it is?
I'm not really, you know...
So it's not, it wasn't such a, if you like, intimate situation, professionally speaking, as people would think. I thought it was like over a couple of years.
Well, maybe a couple of years in total, but I mean, basically we both come from the same place, Basildon, and we used to be on the periphery of the same crowd pretty much, you know, even though we didn't hang out together. And when he split up from Depeche, he'd seen me singing around in pubs and stuff, and he asked me to come sing on a demo, so I went over there and sang on the demo to Only You around his flat. And then he called me up the next week and said, Daniel Miller wanted to record it. So the next week I went and recorded it. And then it's like, Daniel Miller wants us to do an album, so we've got to think of a name of a band, you know. And it was like that. It was like really, you kind of like going from nothing to 7 months later. It was you know,
huge situation,
massive hit everywhere.
And were you involved? I mean, did you hang out with the Depeche Mode guys because you're?
I was at school with them. I mean,
really?
With Andy Fletcher, I was been in the same class with him since I was about, you know, 7. I think often what happens is when you become successful, you kind of cling very closely to the things you knew before that. And I know that Depeche are certainly a lot that really associate very strongly with their schoolmates and stuff like that. They've, you know,
was it not possible to really stay on Mute Records for you then?
I wish I had in lots of ways, but at the time Mute Records was so small. I mean, there was only like 2 people working there. There was Depeche there. They'd split off, and so it was Depeche and Yazoo, and at that time there wasn't such a great feeling between the two, between Vince and the others. No. Then me and Vince split up, and of course, you know, it's like an early breakup. That it wasn't too brilliant between he and I either at that point in time. So I didn't want to get to a scenario where everyone was vying for a situation, saying, you know, how comes they've got the front page of this and we haven't, you know, got, you know, all that kind of nonsense. And seeing as it was
rosters and
exactly,
priority,
yeah,
and so on.
Exactly. And seeing as it was Vince that introduced me to the label, then it seemed only right that I should be the one to move, really.
Alison Moyet speaking 25 years ago. A bit of an update on that, of course. She had the most successful solo career imaginable, went on to be one of the 80s top divas, and since then Yazoo, her and Vince, have got to know each other better, and Yazoo did get back together for a time, and in fact toured, and Alison still goes out on her own. So we hope that I will meet her now in the future. 25 years, I believe, is she a grandmother? She may even be a grandmother at this point, I dare to say, but I hope that at some point when everyone's back out and touring again, she will come and visit us and we can do this all over again, but now, rather than 25 years ago. So you're listening to interviews and sessions from a quarter of a century. She's not here physically, in case you've just joined us, and she's not in the studio singing, because that wouldn't be allowed, of course. This is the final session track from Alison Moyet from that summer of 1995. Will the Circle Be Unbroken? It's bluesy, it's beautiful, it's sassy. Check this out on Radio Buff.
I was standing by my window on a cold and cloudy day when I saw the undertaker come to carry my mother away. Will the circle be unbroken? By and by, Lord, by and by.
I think that was a younger me there, just bigging Alison up. If I could sing anywhere near like that after being locked out for a night, I'd be very happy. That was remarkable. Alison Moyet, and 3 tracks from a session. Will the Circle Be Unbroken from 25 years ago on Radio Bath? We go towards the news at 4 o'clock with George Ezra. And my thanks to the Alison Moyet News Twitter site for their support in us doing this today.
Whenever I'm with you.